Background: the story behind this video is that a work colleague of mine, Kjell, offered me a crashed Toyota Corolla for free, as it had just been parked in his garage driveway. Over time, I regretted not taking that car. At that time, I already had 2 cars, and I didn't think I could take on a 3rd car, which I really couldn't either. I had always regretted not checking out this Toyota Corolla. So that leads me to this Saab. My colleague told me at a luncheon that he had a car standing on his property that had been there for a few years, and that his son's girlfriend had inherited it, and the idea was that she would practice driving before getting her driver's license. This Saab had been standing on his property for at least 2.5 years, he told me. The gas was old, and we didn't know if the gas tank needed to be emptied and replaced with new, fresh gas. Now Kjell wanted the car gone. He was tired of it standing there taking up space. He had told the owner that she and his son would take the car and either sell it or fix it. The Saab was a 9-3 and wouldn't start, he said. It had been possible to drive it there, but now it was dead and there was some problem with the fan. The brakes and maybe more things had probably seized up when it had been left outside in wet and outside conditions. Well, I thought, okay, I can at least go and see what it is. I wasn't at all keen on bringing on another car project this summer, as I already had other plans. I knew that the car would take a lot of time, but I have a hard time saying no if it's really cheap. I already have a car and I don't have room for another car, but here I am anyway. When we get into this video, I have decided to take on this project. I have offered him to tow the car away free of charge if I have to hire a tow truck to do it. There was just one problem: there were no ownership papers for this girl his son was with, and there was a lot of trouble because they didn't have them. They weren't written anywhere.
No turbo Tyre.
So we couldn't just ordering new ownership papers from the Swedish transport agency either. My colleague offered to let them sign up or move in with him then so that he could at least order new ownership papers for his address that he had control of. It took at least a month, maybe 2, before everything was fixed and before the ownership was overwritten, so I took a chance on not getting cheated by starting to put a lot of energy into this car, fixing loose brakes and so on. So this is the story of my first Saab. The reason I took on the project was that there was a B204E engine in the car. An engine that is known to withstand a lot of power. There is a Garrett T25 turbo mounted originally, a small, lightweight turbo that gives the power 154 horsepower. This was a chance to learn more about Saab turbo. Me and 2 other guys have already tried to move the car by hand by pushing it. It didn't work, the brakes are completely stuck.
Kind of mold here.
The interior smelled of mold and stale smoke. The outside was full of algae, and rust had started to creep in here and there. Luckily, there was engine oil in the car. This is the first time I've turned the ignition on the car. It was dead, not so unexpected perhaps. The advantage of this car is that it has a tow bar at the back. It's always good to be able to tow things, a trailer, a caravan, or why not put a bike rack on it and take your bike on holiday. I take a look underneath, to see how much rust there is underneath. I had hoped for a little less rust than this. It's not really bad, but it doesn't look exactly good either. If you want to invest in a car that will last about 5 years, this is probably on the limit. I don't want to put too much work into a car, then I don't think it's worth it. I don't have much space to work on, especially welding rust. Here you can see that it's starting to creep into the kickstands too. The edge of the car's fender shows that someone has previously repaired rust. Now the rust is visible through the filler. It's likely that someone wasn't very careful when they scraped off the rust and filled and spray painted it.
Car, but it wouldn't budge. So, and the handbrake was in, so it's been standing with the handbrake for years. Yeah. That looks messy. Tire size, rim size.
There are leaves and tree debris everywhere around the hood. On the headlights, you can see algae deposits and wilted flower petals.
So I'm a beginner at Saab. I don't know anything about them. It's my first Saab. It's not mine yet, but do the paper. They need to order the registration paper and so on, so it will take a while. So this is coolant. Yeah, it looks, at least it's blue. It's the 64 amp hour battery.
The front spoiler is torn and a fog light is missing on the right side. Here I take a look underneath and see that the oil filter looks pretty fresh, meaning newly changed, positive if the engine has been taken care of.
Replaced.
The service book is missing, so there is no history of how the car has been taken care of.
Got some lines here, pretty damaged.
I tried to get into the tailgate by pressing this button first, nothing happened, maybe it was because the battery was dead. Then I tried to open it with the key, but couldn't figure it out then either, but I would turn out to get the tailgate open a little later.
No, can't get that open.
All the door locks seemed to be stuck. The key couldn't be turned at all. The locks had probably jammed when it was parked. There is no central locking remote control, so you had to leave the car unlocked to get in.
So it was really rusty and was hard to move, but I greased it up and so it's starting to move, so I can jack up the car and fix the brakes, or at least put some rust solver on it. And here we have it's wet here. This mat is wet, so it's leaking in water, and you can see it's been rusting. Hallelujah here. Not too bad yet, but on its way, right? So I'm gonna clean this up a bit and let it dry up. And yeah, we got some kind of lock here also. Yeah, looks like the wheel looks fresh, has never been used. Spare tire, mini one, 80 kilometers. Yeah, and also cleaned up this from the junk, the worst part of it. So maybe we stop the leak again with as you can see, the brakes are pretty bad. I cleaned them up a bit. Of course it looks worse than it is usually. Got, I think this is 17 millimeters, no lock, so that's nice. So yeah, maybe try to jack it up and see, remove the wheel. We'll see. The brakes are totally locked. I've loosened the bolt, so that's just what's moving. So I'm gonna put some rust solution there, see if it helps. Doesn't look good. Yeah, it was really stuck. I've been working on this for long, but finally it's loose. I had to even put some grease on the pad there. That's not good, but at least you can. At least this is okay now for the moment. Whew. Been water here, but it's just the surface. So I got the rear brake loose, the left one, and now we continue with the right one here back. and it's stuck also, but I managed to get it moving, starting to move a bit. I've put some grease in there, and I'm gonna continue loosen things up because it's really stuck, but not too bad, so that's nice. So I'm jacking it up with a board there, and get some board here because we have dirt here, so I'm using this one, not the best one, but hey, use what you got. As you can see, the back wheel is totally stuck. It won't budge at all. Yeah, it will. It's tiny. Okay, so this is not too bad. Gonna need to loosen this up a bit more. Right rear brake. Juicy. Yeah, this hasn't been replaced ever. Got some, this is hole straight through. It's gonna be called the dog leg for some reason. So this side here is probably just rust all over, and behind the spoiler there probably too. Yeah, got a lot of rust here. We'll see if what the note says. The rear handbrake shoes are inside here. They're like pulling out when you apply the handbrake. So this is just a normal brake, so they're separated. Yeah, gonna start cleaning it up a bit. Just using a steel brush. Also clean the mess from here. This is a mess, yeah. Gotta get the crap out. It gives a lot of electrical problems and so on. And the guy said here the fan is pulling current and so on, so the fan comes on and off or something. I guess it's the motor fan, or if it's in the inside fan, you know, the ventilation, I don't know. But yeah, starting to later on. Here I have removed the battery. The battery showed 0.7 volts, so it was completely drained. See if it gives any cramp, cold cranking amp hours. So that goes in here then.
Since the car battery only gave 0.7 volts, I decided to try to take the battery home and revive it. I have a few methods for that I think might solve or help to get the voltage up in the battery. The battery looked pretty fresh otherwise, but if you drop the volts this low, batteries tend to get damaged. I take the battery with me on my Hyosung Sense scooter and go home later and continue another day. There is another video series where I fix this moped scooter, available on my YouTube channel.
Seems hard, but we give it a try. I've been charging the lead acid battery with a 12 volts PC supply for the entire night, and managed to get some current in it, so it's starting to get alive. I'm at about 11 volts now, so I'm gonna try out the iCharger so we can get a bit more voltage up. Let's start at 1 amp and do a automatic charge. See what happens. Usually battery check can give low voltage sometimes, but nickel metal hybrid is seems to be working. So yeah, it's charging. So let's maybe hope for this battery. 11.84. We want to go up to like 13 or something at least, even higher, like if 14 when you charge it. But where are we ways to go, man? This is what I use. Now I put it on 3 amp. Start it. So allowing 3 amps, but it's only managed to put about 0.7 amp right now, so it's still very sulfated. Yeah, I tried it a time and restarted just, and now I'm gonna try to change to lead acid charging. So we go here and then we select PB battery there. Yeah, and we started. I just adjust it, and I've actually tried it just, so it works. So finally I can use the normal lead acid charging. I've limited the current to 5 amps, but it's taking that, so that's nice. So this is progress. Nice. Okay, let's try charging the 0.0 starting volt battery with the CTEC. I managed to get this up to about 11.5 with this one and this one. So now we see if we get a red here or if it will be charging. Hope for the best. Yeah, we're making progress. Half full now. One step more and the current is leveling off. 2.3 amps charging right now. Should be coming down to 0 when it's ready. Yeah, we got full charge. So maybe this battery will work.
A very nice feature that I miss on my other car is this cruise control. I was really happy when I saw that there was a cruise control on this Saab. It is very nice when you are on the highway and do not have to keep your foot on the gas pedal. The only way to open locked doors from the inside was by opening the trunk and climbing in through that wall by folding the back seat. The interior looked pretty worn, well used. If you look at the door sides, they were in pretty okay condition. If you use a little linseed oil, you can probably stop the worst of the rust. They should last 5 years at least.
It's full of mögel. Smells terrible in here. Need a mask. You can see, but it's very moldy.
There was mold here and there in the car, probably rainwater had leaked in because the floor mats were wet in places. All of this created a humid environment where mold thrived. The car was really disgusting.
Trying to ventilate out all the mold. I guess it's been a smoke or something that has had this. Doesn't smell good, but after a while when you open the door it becomes manageable again. So probably some dog or something, some animal, some cat or something also. You see I've hit this a lot, but it's a lot of dust and so on. This is broken. Should be a lid here, but yeah. The interior looks decent. I've removed the mold from the gearbox leather there and the steering wheel. You can see the steering wheel is really bad. So it's been probably gone a lot of miles. Okay, we'll try. Let's hook it up. Let's see what happens. First time starting it. First time starting a Saab. So what we have here, let's put it in. That should be okay. Do we get some lights? Yes. Okay, let's try it. The fan sounds. Yeah, it started. Yes. It's almost empty on fuel. And the fan off. This is black. Why is that? Doesn't work. F use ur funktion. Something with the light is on. We got a no fuel light. This is the mileage, okay. 238,000 kilometers. But no engine light, that's good. Yeah, it's sorted. How do you turn off the fan? It doesn't sound good. Now we start. Turn it off, please. Ah, there. Okay. .8 is charging. The rear light is working. Even those one doesn't have an exhaust leak. That's nice. Sounds good. Now it's ticking quite bad. It's ticking quite bad. Let's see if I can get the brakes loose. And we're recording, right? And we're recording, right? So it did stall, and this yeah, it's moving, but the brakes are on. I don't know, I have to learn how this works. Now it starts again. Turn off. Yeah, the lights on this one is totally dead. This rear light is on no functioning, okay. And we got a light there also, yeah, okay. Yeah, you Saab, you know all this Saab people, but I don't know it. So you follow along here with a beginner. Temperature is going up. Yeah, I have to figure out where the current leak is.
The previous owner left some nice-to-haves in the trunk. A bottle of engine oil, some power steering fluid. I think there's also some wax and washer fluid. There was also a spray bottle of silver paint. The bottom edge of the rear doors looked pretty okay. If you look at the mountings on the front doors, they also looked good, no major rust there, that's positive. However, the left driver's door looks to be dented or damaged, it's like a big crack at the top between the door and the body. Water probably leaks in there when it rains, because the floor mat was wet. That could mean there's rust under the mat.
This is the list. Holding this.
This rust hole by the driver's floor may not look serious, but it's usually much worse than it looks. It almost looks like it's coming from the inside, why else would it start to rust so much? Rusting like this is not good. This is probably the remark it received at the inspection a few years ago, that is in the papers.
Engine heater. Yeah. So I finally found the fuse box inside. So I'm gonna start pulling some fuses here and see if I get lower amps from the battery, and I'm gonna start with heater or something like that. Something that goes on and off sort of stuff. So I pulled the fan motor ACC 30 amp. I'm starting with that one, the biggest, and we'll see how it goes. I hooked up the ampere meter, reset it, and let's hook up the booch. So let's start pulling 0.2. That's a bit high for me. It might be normal, I don't know. Got a lot of electric stuff. We'll see if this goes up. I'll restart the video if it goes up. This is good so far. So this is like a couple of minutes later and it's still low. So might have been the ACC fan. Yeah, that was quick finding it out, but what we do next, I don't know. I'm gonna have to read some forum and so on. Without the ACC, checking, start sounding here anyway. What is this? Something with the rear light is bad. And we got a coffee maker here, not visible. Let's see how much it draws now. It's a bit tight here. How much? Ooh, it's pulling a lot. Ooh. 14 amps, that's high. Yeah. Better turn this off. This still sounds, even though it's off. What's up with that? It's this one. What's that? What is this? Let's see how much it consumes. Yeah, we have some problem. This is the one. Now it's pulling like before. So what is that? Okay, so I pulled AC control panel. This 7.5 amp. Let's see if it's quiet now. It's quiet. This doesn't sound, so that's good. Maybe that was it. See how much it pulls. It will pull a lot now. Like 14 amps, what is last time. Let's see. Oh, 15, even more now, 16. Yeah, it's a lot of power when you're gonna start it. So let's turn it off. I've turned off the ignition. It's still pulling high. Not good, not good. Why? This is the last control test. It was hard to reading the identification number in the engine room, and there was something problem with the hatch, or the toe thing. Locking is unsafe and so on. So, and then good to know, brake disc, front right, left rear, rust, small surface area. And good to know also floor rust damaged. So you can see it on there that it was quite a lot of rust. And this is the same. And then we have the service papers. That's pretty good. He had to do the fix the problem with the control mode, and so they fixed the chassis number and so on, and they've re-lubricated the toe hitch and control of chassis and cleaning of metal parts. So he's been changing the oil here in 2020, it's like 4 years ago. So that's good. Got some mobile 5W40 in it and a new filter. So maybe I don't have to replace that at once. Yeah. So we paid $2,000 for that. That's like $200. This is the same. Battery is worn out because of elderage. Old, needs to replace. But it's something electrical problems in this car, so they didn't find that one. I will find it. But this is the new battery that was toast when I got it, but I managed to get it to live again. So that's 2,345. Yeah, that's like $230 again. Yeah.